Okay. Good afternoon. And good afternoon to everyone who is joining us on the internet. The added dimension of the connection through the internet constitutes an expansion that is wonderful. And I need to share with all of you that the foundation is going through an expansion. It is very much like the work is very much like a pair of feet that have grown too large for the pair of shoes it's wearing, and there is discomfort from the tight fit, and it's necessary to take them off and put on a new pair. When activities arrive at that point, it involves a certain degree of trust to make the expansion when the means of expansion doesn't seem to be present. One of the wonderful developments, is that Paul's son, Christopher, has become a full-time employee of the foundation and is taking care of everything associated with the extension through the internet, which is no small task and deserves a lot of appreciation for those who are availing themselves of all that is on our website. Amen. So, I have to once again come back to the fact that this activity is a gift. It is an actual extension of love from me, from Paul, from Susan, from Chris, and from those who help in the office. The activity is not a business. It's an act of love. And from the beginning, I have made it clear that it will not be conducted like a business. The activity will not be allowed to take a form where it might become easy to engage in it as an act of survival rather than a gift, rather than an extension of love. Everyone here in the room, everyone who is listening on the internet, and everyone who is enjoying the extension on the internet who isn't listening today, and all of those who are on our mailing list who do not have access to the internet at all of you stand in receipt of the gift. No one twisted your arm to come here. You came here because there was a desire. Because a gift was being made, and the gift is meaningful to you. And so an extension is being made that is being received. It is not a gift that no one is interested in. And so there is an involvement that includes everyone, Paul and Sue and Chris and whoever works in the office, and everyone who stands in receipt of the gift. And that's not even a good description of it. It isn't that a gift is being made and you stand in receipt of it. It is a togetherness rather than a giving and receiving. There is a friendship. At least there's a friendship that Paul feels with everyone. It's a group of people who are enjoying being together on a certain tone, and who are not only enjoying what presents itself on that tone, you are also enjoying the camaraderie with each other. And so, as I say what I'm going to say, I want it to be heard in the context of the friendship, the enjoyment that everyone involved is experiencing because of the involvement. I am including everyone and inviting everyone to feel included. The work is at a cusp in very practical, down-to-earth terms. And it's important for there not to be a disconnect between idealism and realism, between spirituality and practicality. In order for the work to exist, in order for the gift to be made and extended practically in the world, there are costs. There are expenses. In order for Paul and Chris and whoever works in the office to survive, there is an expense of over $450 a day just for salaries. That's over $2,300 a week, which puts it up to approximately $10,000 for a month. Now, we're not talking about a huge corporation with hundreds of employees. We're talking about bare bones, brass tacks operation, 3 employees. It may not occur to anyone that just having 3 employees can cost $10,000 a month. And that's before a single blank tape or blank CD or mailers or postage has been purchased, you see. These are the practical nuts and bolts, brass tacks of the situation. And in order for those salaries to be paid, and in order for supplies to be purchased, and in order for postage to be bought and the extension be sent out to those who want the materials, there needs to be a substantial and consistent increase in contributions. there needs, for those who are interested in supporting the work, to be a conscious dedication so that the work can continue. Now one might say, what's the difference between that and charging for everything? And selling your books in the bookstores and doing it like everyone else? Well, there's a difference. If I ask for support, and for the support to be consistent, because in practical terms, that's what allows the gift to be extended, and you make a contribution, that contribution is voluntary. And a voluntary contribution is a conscious expression of love for what you value. If a charge is put on it, it becomes a transaction. It's required before you can have the gift. And love doesn't have to enter into that at all. As you know, Paul feels that this is like begging. But if we are making a gift and someone is receiving it and appreciating it, and even taking the time to send a letter that says, this gift is priceless, it has made all the difference in the world to my life, then it's worth it to you to go ahead and put a price on it. And say, it's worth $5 to me. It's worth more than that, but I want to say thank you, and I want to know that this will continue to be available to me, and I want it to be available to everyone it can possibly be available to who's interested in having it. Let's not have a spiritual disconnect where you're full of gratitude that is unexpressed in practical terms. When it's expressed in practical terms, then there is no spiritual disconnect. And idealism is translated into here and now realism. Everyone involved in the work is dedicated to it. Paul, Susan, Chris, and the people that have worked in the office have been dedicated to it too. And at the moment, we're not able to pay anyone to work in the office, which of course means that the extension of audio tapes and things that must be sent out through the mail, that extension cannot occur. And so I'm inviting everyone to join together without being identified as a group. Oh, we are members of the Northwest Foundation for A Course in Miracles. But in a more fundamental way. You value what you find here. Well, you know what? If you were particularly partial to lilac blossoms, you would likely plant a couple of lilac bushes in your yard. And if you planted them in the spring while they were in bloom, you would enjoy the blooms. And then summer would come and the blooms are gone. And then fall comes and the leaves drop off, and all it is an ugly bunch of sticks. But if you love lilac blossoms, you will see to it that during the winter it is watered if necessary, even though there's no enjoyment at the moment. And when spring comes before blossom time, you will put fertilizer on it so that the blossoms will be especially beautiful and you will have a lot of satisfaction when they bloom. You take care of what you value. You take care of what you want to have. You make a physical expression of whatever it takes to have in your experience what is meaningful to you. What I'm saying is that that's what's needed here. And it needs to be done consciously, and it needs to be done conscientiously. There is an immediate need for significant influx of money, not well wishes, not verbalized appreciation, not just loving thoughts sent to the foundation. There is a need for money, so that those places who provide the materials, who are not making a gift of it, can be paid for it. And so that those who are giving their full time to extending the work and improving the delivery of it can buy food, pay their rent, make their car payments, and have a little bit left over for pleasure. A living wage, not just enough to scrape by on. That's love. That's honor. That's respect. So as I said, we're at a cusp. The fact is that no one can engage in making the extension without support, because those making the extension are not independently wealthy. Therefore, if the support is not forthcoming, the work in the form that you all enjoy it right now cannot continue. And I would invite you not to be curious to see what the new form might be if you don't make the support, and wonder just what God will do to handle the situation. This is not a threat. It is not a ploy to make anyone feel guilty, nor is it something I'm creating artificially so as to get you to do something. What I'm inviting all of you to do is to pay attention to what means something to you and realize that you need to nurture what means something to you. Most all of you are familiar with the story of the fellow who was accosted and robbed and beaten and left for dead on the side of the road, and various individuals of different intellectual and religious thought patterns came by, and for whatever reason did not offer help. And then the one called the Good Samaritan came by. And his spirituality was not disconnected from his humanity. And what did he do? He didn't say, well, you created this for yourself, therefore deal with it. He didn't say, I will sit down and pray for instantaneous healing. He was humane and expressed his humanity by cleaning the wounds and binding the fellow up so that he would be clean, and then he carried him to where care could be provided while he recovered. There's no spiritual disconnect there. Let's not try to be so spiritually lofty that simple, practical humanity goes out the window and needs go unmet when it would be so easy for needs to be met. You see what I'm saying? And so I will reiterate that at this very moment, the Foundation's bank account has less than $800 in it and has had even less for the past week. That won't even cover 2 days' pay for employees. That's about as low as it is possible for the bank account to get and still function. It is at the edge of not functioning. And so, as I said, there is a need at this moment for there's a need for significant support, immediate. And then there's a need for ongoing, committed support. If, in fact, any of you find that the gift Paul and I and Sue and Chris and whoever is working in the office are making, I'm sorry, this is me, Paul, I lost it. There is need for support if indeed you find the activities of the Foundation valuable. I am saying be realistic with yourselves and nurture what you value. Now, I have tried to keep what I am saying to essentials. I could have given you a pep talk. I could have jacked up your enthusiasm with lofty things. I could have given you contexts in which to think about making contributions. But my intent is for all of you to stay in touch with what you need and to encourage you to give practical support to what is meeting your need. Let's keep it real fundamental, real simple, with the clear understanding that what isn't nurtured won't grow. Paul and Susan live this work 24 hours a day. There is not a moment of their day that is not done in the context, it's not engaged in. There is not a moment of the day that they engage in that doesn't have some relevancy to the work. It is impossible for them to give more. And they are not giving poorly. The problem is not because of neglect on their part in any way. There's a crew standing ready to implement the extension of the gift to everyone who wants it, and it will be provided freely. It will never be provided at a cost. And Paul and Susan and Chris and whoever is working in the office cannot do it without support from those who value it. Now, there is a contribution bowl right at the top of the stairs, and on the internet, there's a little button on your screen that says, "Make a contribution." And I'm asking everyone today, whether they intended to make a contribution or not, to make one. Even if it is $1 as a gesture of caring, as an expression of valuing what is happening in this work. And I'm not begging. I'm just saying, be conscious and participate. Your contribution doesn't just bless you because the focus of this work is extension to all who are looking for the truth, all who are looking for meaning, and who will find it in the work we are doing. And so the work is about extension. And for the extension to flourish. And for the blessings that others receive to flourish in their lives. It's about gift. And I'm inviting everyone to participate in making the gift. So, I will finish by being utterly clear. The work in the form that it's in right now is at a cusp, a threshold. It is a threshold of expansion. That is what it actually is. And the expansion will occur as everyone joins together in support, whether the support is minuscule or gigantic. I'm asking everyone to enjoy joining together in a mutual intent to nurture what you value and what you would like to be available to others who will find value in it as well. If the support is not there, then the picture will change. And during whatever reconfiguration occurs, you might find nothing available. Again, that is not a threat, nor is it a means of coercion. When you know the truth, you know what to do. When you are confused, you don't know what to do. And so I'm telling the truth, the practical, nitty-gritty truth. And I'm saying that when you voluntarily respond to a need, that is a gift.